Hi, it's Jill from Jilly Bean Studio. I hope you can join me today for some beginner-friendly junk journal pages. So welcome to the channel or welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Today, friends, I thought I would get a jump on Junk Journal January. It is actually right around the corner. I can't believe it. Here we are in the end of December. And in December, I have been working in this craft notebook, getting to the end, doing a little sketching, little collaging. So I'm very happy about that. A few more pages to go. And when I'm done, I will share that with you. And today I thought I would get going. Because we are at the end of December with some ideas and really easy ideas actually, and some page prep for Junk Journal January. So I would love to know if you're going to do that. I love Meg's challenges, Meg at Meg Journals, and she also collaborates, I guess, recently, maybe in the last year or two, with Get Messy Art. So there's a lot of collaborators and just so much fun in January. And I thought this wildflower book that I just flipped through would be great to use. Pulled some pages ahead of time for that. I've also been using a lot of acrylic paint and a little bit of coffee dyeing and ink to get these pages started. And today I'm going to do a second swipe at them and kind of step you through the process, what I did to get started, and then demonstrate the way I like to continuing layering on the pages. So I hope you can join me, pull out some supplies, craft along, journal along too. And I'd love for you to let me know what you are doing in the new year. I hope you are enjoying your craft time at the end of the year, and Happy New Year to you. So to start with, I used acrylic paint, and I love to scrape it on with a credit card and pre-prep these greeting cards that I had from the holidays. I also prepped the first layer, and I'm going to show you this technique of this watercolor paper with simply using crayons. This is very freeing, and if you want good self-care, I recommend giving that a try, and some watercolors. So we'll do more of that in a few minutes. And then I used a little bit of stenciling and also some more coffee dyeing and inks on this book page. That's just from one of the end papers in a larger book. All of today's techniques are really easy. Most of the supplies I think most of us would have at hand. This first starts with copy paper actually. A lot of what I do is using things that I can just grab from my office or things that are junk mail. So I'm thinking I'm going to use some copy paper today. These paper bags I have on the side, I'm feeling like those might be the cover. Haven't decided on the size yet. And then, of course, if you celebrated the holidays, you may have some of these lying around. So the first layer of prep I already did was to take some instant coffee and some acrylic paint and put a layer of acrylic paint on, let it dry, and then a little bit of coffee. So I'm going to show you that process again. And I like to do most of my page prep twice. So what you're going to see now is going in and kind of doing the second round on these greeting cards. And I thought they're going to be kind of interesting because look at that one on the right. I love that with the trifold. And then some of them have brighter colors. Obviously, this one in front has more green. And then I also pulled out, I have an acrylic ink or two in my stash. And this one's a burnt umber. It really looks the same as coffee. They're pretty much interchangeable. I grabbed some of that to prep the pages. And yeah, so I would say if you don't have an ink, Coffee is fine too. Tea dyeing works just as well. And if you have any kind of acrylic paint, adding a layer of that on to cover up the greetings on the greeting cards so that you have a good base to later collage on, add pockets and all of those good junk journaling things that will be coming our way soon in the prompts for Junk Journal January. One of the ways I like to quickly get the acrylic paint on is a credit card or one of these scrapers. Goes fairly quickly and it dries fairly quickly. And this one I already have some of the ink dyeing. On the back, so let's go in and do some coffee dyeing on the front. Now I will say when you have the paint on, it acts somewhat as a resist, and also the card has a little bit of, I don't know, a coating on it, I guess. So you're gonna get variations in the way it looks. I'm pure grunge in this process. I love a grungy look. And I really feel that this page prep is a basic background, and that as we get into the layering that we all love with junk journaling, it gives you a really fun base to play off of. You can see there was an image there. I think that was like a puppy dog with his reindeer antlers. And again, this one is a trifold, so I'm excited about, I haven't really used a lot of greeting cards in my junk journals, and especially as the base, because I think I have at least 4. I'll count them out at the end. And so that would be about half my signatures, because I'm going to, half of the one signature rather. I think I'm going to put in 8 pages in this particular junk journal. Gonna slide that around. Yeah, again, there's paint on it. It's not gonna soak totally in, but it will give that grungy layer and take down some of that white. By the way, if you've been around the channel for a while, I am filming in a new location. We have family with us, and so thrilled that some family members can spend extra time. So my Jilly Bean Studio craft room also is a guest room, and we have family staying there. So I am actually on my sunny porch enjoying a new location. And what I just noted is this is the first layer with that burnt umber ink. Again, to me, almost no difference with the coffee. I was just deciding to play, and that would be my first layer, and then I let that dry. A little bit of caution, copy paper is thin. This is a regular copy paper that you would print, any document off of. So go gentle, don't overwork the paper, a few little splashes and you're good. And then you have to let it dry or use a dryer on it. So greeting cards, copy paper, paper bags, those are sort of the simple materials that I've been using. And these book pages, this is an end page from a pretty large book. It's solid. So I decided to use, I love the pretty solid teal color, to use more of that acrylic paint. And I had to just go for it with this sponge brush or foam brush, because I have a little travel bag. I don't have all of my supplies and my cart and everything. I had to grab my supplies and carry them out to the new setting on the porch. So I was like, oh, I don't Usually I have some of the brushes I use, but that worked. So how are you doing? How was your December holiday time, your holiday season? I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stayed well. I am on the mend from, oh gosh, the last video, my goodness. And then for this technique, I am moving into the second time around for the watercolor and crayons. So this is another easy kind of junk journal page. Besides painting with acrylic paint and coffee dyeing, this kind is using watercolor and crayons, again, on copy paper. So you kind of have to do it a couple times because it gets really saturated quickly. It's not meant to soak up all that lovely water that I'm putting on it. But if you go multiple times, this is kind of what you come out with. This again is my junk journal from December, and I use this exact technique. So by the second time, look at the difference. I love that. The colors are much more vibrant. Here we go. And by the way, Eileen, I think you asked for this one, so I hope you're watching and I hope you're well. This is the crayon and watercolor technique. And the first layer is really, really pale and pastel. And the second layer, you want to kind of go throughout the paper in little bits without overworking it. And honestly, I just go with what my heart says at the moment. And I try not to make mud. those are my fancy techniques. I really keep going over the areas that I think need a little bit more of the brights first, and then I go in with the blues and the greens. And I try to keep the greens and the reds a little bit away from each other so I don't get into too muddy of a mess. These, by the way, are Koi, K-O-I watercolors. I've had them for a very long time, years. And I like, it's not quite a batik effect, but I like the bright, bold colors by the time you get to the second layer of this. So for me, this is really relaxing. This is the self-care and the joy of journaling for me. Making a mess, don't worry about it. It's a piece of copy paper. It's fun. You'll start to see more of the wrinkles and the crinkles. And so I should say for every single one of these techniques, the coffee dyeing, the white acrylic paint scraping, and the watercolor and crayon techniques, I always lay them under heavy books because they will, this is very thin paper, they will ripple up on you, and that's it. How simple is that? And here's my heavy book. You can see I have paint bits on it. But yeah, just stick them under a heavy book. They'll flatten out for you. And it's as easy as that. So I hope those were helpful. If you're new to junk journaling, look around your house. Simple supplies. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Get some paint and a little bit of coffee dyeing or inks or whatever you have around. Food color works well too. Repurpose some of those holiday greeting cards. Grab a paper bag, and yeah, you'll be good to go with some of the pages for your junk journal, no matter if you do junk journal January or not. This is a fun way to prep a journal anytime. I'm going to start to fold these a little bit just to get an idea of the number of pages that I have for the signature, and I do have some that still are going to have to dry. I don't know, I may with these book pages glue them on the back of some of the coffee dyed and painted copy paper to reinforce those. So let's see, let me count now. I have the book page in the back, 1, 2, 3 greeting cards and 1 drawing. So I have 4 greeting cards. And then I have a couple of the copy papers. So I think I want 8, so I may need to do a little bit more. Then I'm going to size this up, and I will do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch and put this in the cover. So I will take you along for that in the next video. Thanks for joining me today, and happy junk journaling to you.